Welcome to this topic. Today we are going to discuss assessment methods and types. My name is Jean Stella Fundi. I am your facilitator for the topic. So the topic outline includes approaches to competency-based assessment. We are going to talk about types of competency-based assessment and methods of assessment. Let's start with the types of assessment. In competence assessment, we have the different ways of looking at the types of assessment. First, we have internal and external assessment. Internal assessment is where assessment is conducted within the organization, and it is meant to focus on evaluating the progress of the trainee in a controlled environment to ensure that training aligns with the goals. In external assessment, it is carried out by an independent body outside the organization, and it mainly helps to provide an objective evaluation of the competencies of the candidate against the industry standards. Another way of looking at types of assessment is formative and summative assessment. In formative assessment, it occurs during the training process, and it is aimed at monitoring the trainee progress and giving feedback on their performance, and then guiding the candidates on what kind of instructional adjustments to make in order to improve their performance. On the other side, summative assessment takes place at the end of a given training program to evaluate the overall competency of a trainee against established standards, often impacting on certification and decisions concerning qualification. Now, having looked at formative and summative, internal and external, we also have what we call recognition of prior learning. Recognition of prior learning is a process that formally acknowledges knowledge and skills of a trainee that have been gained through either the informal or on-the-job experiences. It serves to validate prior knowledge and skills, allowing the trainees to receive credit towards qualifications based on their existing competencies. The purpose of RPL is to streamline pathways to qualification, making education and training more accessible and relevant to the learner's experience. By recognizing prior learning, education institutions can promote lifelong learning and help candidates make progress in their career more efficiently. Then we have methods of assessment. What we were discussing prior on were the types. So we have specific methods of assessment, and we have three. We have institutional assessment. This one is just basically giving us the context under which assessment is carried out. So we can have institutional assessment, which is conducted within the institution, and it focuses on structured evaluation methods such as exams, quizzes, or portfolio assessment. Another context of assessment is the on-job assessment, where assessment is conducted in the workplace, allowing candidates to demonstrate competencies in a real-time scenario, often using direct observation and practical tasks. Another context is workplace assessment, where evaluation occurs during internship or apprenticeship, and candidates are assessed on their performance and skills in a professional environment. Let's look at each of these contexts and then look at the methods and the purpose and the tools that are used. Where we have institutional context, we can have observation of performance in a simulated situation, and the purpose is to assess practical skills that could be aimed at assessing either a process or production of a product, and you can use a checklist or you can use a camera. Then another method you can use within the institutional context is oral questioning, which aims at assessing and underpinning knowledge and skills, and this data can be collected using interview on one-on-one or in a group setting. Another one is projects, which assesses practical skills. And this one, the tools that are used, you can have a checklist for finished product or you carry out oral questions. Case studies, which assesses underpinning knowledge and problem solving skills, and you can be able to use actual scenarios or written questions. Then we have trainee presentations. This is institutional assessment. You can have trainee presentations that assess underpinning knowledge and presentation skills. And here you can have observation, written reports, or give oral feedback. Another way of method that can be used in the institutional context is written assessment, which assesses knowledge, and you can use multiple choice questions or written short answers. Then online assessment to assess both knowledge and skills. And here you can use essays, short answer, application packages, questions, chat forums. Then we have trainer or facilitator reports to assess knowledge and skills. And you can use both verbal or written reports. So these methods are used within the institutional context. On the job context, we have supervisor reports to assess practical skills. This can be done using written reports or performance appraisal. On the job assessment, to assess practical skills and key competencies, and here you can have a checklist for finished product, the mentor report, self-evaluation report, or the team leader report. You can do observation of overall performance. The purpose is to assess practical skills and knowledge and competencies, and the tools used can be observation checklist, mentor report, team leader report, or demonstration. Workplace assessment, you can do observation and recording satisfactory performance of tasks over a period of time. And this is meant to assess component of competency. You can use the logbook, team leader report, or performance appraisal. Method, question to assess knowledge, and you can use questionnaire or interview. Team-based reports to assess key competencies, practical skills, and you can use checklist and verbal presentation. Work-based projects to assess skills in a product or process skills and application of key competencies, and you can use logbooks and checklists. Then we have supervisor report. Here, these are meant to assess practical skills, and the tools used can be written reports or mentoring tools. Self-assessment by trainee to assess and reinforce knowledge and skills and application of key competencies. You can use observation checklist mentoring tool. On-the-job assessment by the facilitator to assess underpinning knowledge, practical skills, components of competency, and you can use a observation checklist, oral or written questions. So those were basically the context under which assessment can be carried out. Now, what are some of the assessment pathways? We have two. We have assessment through training, where the participants undertake training on or off the job, or a combination of both, and then competencies are assessed upon completion. Then we have assessment only, where the pathway recognizes that individuals gain skills and knowledge in a variety of ways. Wherever these skills and knowledge have been gained, they can be assessed against the relevant competency standards. So what have we covered in this topic? We have gone through different types of assessments, and under types of assessment, we discussed summative and formative, and we also had internal and external. Then we looked at the methods of assessment, and we discussed institutional, on the job, or workplace assessment, and finally We looked at the pathways of assessment, which can be through assessment only or through assessment through training. Thank you very much for listening to me. Tune in for the next topic.